grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all. My name is Justin B., and I'm a son of an all-powerful, perfectly loving God and a qualifying addict living in the miracle of one day at a time recovery. And I'm here with my sister, the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, my co-host, Nikki M. Nikki, say hi, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Nikki M. I'm super grateful to be here. Justin asked me, how are you? And I said, wow, well, we had 140 people on our Noodle meeting. We do that live every Monday, and those are in the show notes. I just celebrated 14 years in the rooms on Valentine's Day because, hi, I'm Nikki M. I'm a real love addict, and I'm a real person who suffers the family disease of alcoholism. And, I came in 14 years ago and I was going to kill myself, kill the man I love. My whole life was a mess. And because I wasn't getting what I want on Valentine's Day. And I could not believe as I sat, Justin, on Valentine's Day this year and just going, I cannot believe how awesome my life is. And really, did I get all the things I want? Well, Justin, that's a whole nother story for another day. Do I have all the stuff I need? Yes. And more importantly, the biggest promise for a love addict like me is that I'm at perfect peace and ease alone. I need for nothing except for a really good podcast here with you today.
I love it, Nikki. I'm in the same sex and love addict rooms, and I'm in several group chats. And a couple days ago for Valentine's Day was a really, really hard day for a lot of the people in those rooms. And I'm grateful that you shared your experience, strength, and hope there of being at perfect peace and ease alone by yourself. What a beautiful thing to be able to say that and to mean it. So anyways, everybody out there, what this is the Noodle It Out with Nikki M podcast, and we dive deep into finding the solution to questions that come to us from all over the place regarding recovery and life and the different things that we can pull from the Big Book. And Nikki, as you all know, or if you don't know, you'll soon find out, is a treasure trove of Big Book language, knowledge, and references. And she'll go through and answer the questions using Big Book language, and I'll jump in with a little hybrid big book language and experience, strength, and hope of my own. But man, I'm sure grateful to have Nikki doing this with us, and that's what this project is about. Rico 12 has other projects, and just a little inside baseball. I'm going out on my own employment-wise. I have a couple of other projects. I've got these recovery-based projects. I've got some faith-based projects, and I've got some life-based projects that I'm going at. I'll put some links in the show notes in this or future episodes, so that if you're interested to see what I'm doing, I'd love to have your support in any way, shape, or form. So anyways, but we're going to dive into the question that came to us here from an anonymous listener who says, I haven't seen if you've had any podcasts on sponsoring or choosing whether or not to stay with a sponsor. And the question is this: my sponsor's sponsor got ill and won't be able to sponsor anymore. My sponsor has decided not to find another sponsor, but to instead share her step work with fellows. I'm worried about having a sponsor that does not have a sponsor. This person had a bad experience with this early in program. So Nikki, talk to us about your experience, strength, and hope, and what the book says about this.
Wow. The book doesn't even have the word sponsor in it, so let's just start there. Number one, though, I do want to start off again and just say, please, everybody, if this podcast or you want to see more stuff like this with Justin, because yes, I'm Noodle Nikki, but there is no Noodle Nikki without Justin. So please donate your seventh. Please contribute. Please walk this path with us. And it does cost some resources. So just make I always say an annual donation and be done with it. So in that vein, it's the same with a sponsor. They make their annual donation to you by taking you through the steps, and that's that. Really, like, where does it say it in the book? This is where it says it in the book, page 153. Let's go here. Some experience, strength, and hope, though, is that my sponsor, I've met his sponsor one time. I don't even think, and some of you know, my sponsor, I want to say I think he's episode number 3 or 2 on the Rico speaker meetings. He's one of the that's how I got in to meet Justin. He recommended me. My sponsor said, Nikki should get on the podcast. And then Justin and I, well, here we are years later. But my sponsor, Cameron F., he has a sponsor who took him through the steps. And I don't think he's ever mentioned him again, ever. And a lot of the time asks me how often I do step work with Cameron. I don't want to say never, but I want to say rarely, because we do things together. We do talks together. We do meetings together. So we work the steps in a group. We do his monthly workshop. That's a 4 steps and the 12 steps in 4 hours. I think it's .org. You can look at that. And I go there and do that. But mostly, what do? We hang out and talk a lot of shit. We spiritually gossip. What do? We eat a lot of sweet stuff together. What do? I bring a lot of my sponsees over to him because he says, page 89, this is a bright spot in his day. But we were headed over to page 153. And this is what it is. It says, we commence shoulder to shoulder our common journey. So there's no hierarchy. So why are you worried that your sponsor doesn't have a sponsor? See, the ultimate sponsor here is God. And so if your sponsor doesn't have a page 29, let's go to page 29. If your sponsor does not have a relationship with God, because that's what your sponsor was doing. Each individual, that's what your sponsor did. He or she is the individual in their personal story, their experience, strength, and hope, described in their own language, from their own point of view, their particular attitude. What's a point of view? A particular attitude. Like how you consider a matter, attitude, point of view, the way she, he, they, the sponsor established a relationship with God. Where does it say sponsor? What page is that on? Like, this is deep. I love this question because I hear it all the time. Like, I say, and you know this, Justin, too, a lot of the time, I don't even know I've never even heard you mention a sponsor. Pop in here real quick because I want to hear your experience, strength, and hope with this, because I know you have multiple sponsors. You're one of my sponsors, Justin. Come through.
Yeah, and my experience with sponsors, yes, I have a sponsor right now, but we don't talk regularly. He knows he's my sponsor. I know he's my sponsor. And when a communication is needed, we do that. And when I sponsor people and we get finished through the 12 steps, I say, look, I'm still your sponsor. I'm still here. You need anything, reach out to me. But it's time for you to rely completely on God. Spread those wings, put on your hard hat, and get to work, And that's, yes, it's important to have somebody that I can reach out to in times of, any time that I feel like I need to talk to somebody, and I need that person who I trust with, my fourth step, my fifth step. I need that person that that knows a little bit enough about me to call me on my crap and tell me I'm full of garbage and tell me to get back on my feet and get moving. But Yeah, and I've had many sponsors. Nikki, I want to share this, and I think I've shared this in multiple places, but I don't know if I've ever shared this with you or on this. My first sponsor was a guy of my own faith tradition. He had 29 years sober in Alcoholics Anonymous, and he was a drill sergeant. He kicked my butt. I hated him. But man, is he what I needed when I first came into the rooms, because I would have walked all over anybody else. My second sponsor was an Orthodox Jew who introduced me to the concept of really who God is. You know, my third sponsor was a practicing Muslim from the UK that we did not get along, but he taught me some really good things about all sorts of different angles on this whole concept of growing God. My fourth sponsor was a communist atheist from California, but when he prayed the Serenity Prayer, it was like hearing angels sing. He knew that it was not him that kept him sober, but he didn't understand what this God thing was. But man, it opened my eyes to so many things. My current sponsor is an evangelical Christian from Alaska who is exactly what I need today. And what an amazing variety of people. And I can still reach out to any one of these people, any one of them, and ask questions and bounce ideas and thoughts off of them. So that's kind of my experience with sponsors. Nikki, do you have any feedback on that?
Wow. God, I love that. That's see, like you see how we I've known Just a long time and I didn't know that about him. And I love that you've had basically every religion at your feet. You've had every experience, every kind of person. And that's what this is about. It takes me right here to page 17. It's like we of Alcoholics Anonymous know thousands of men and women who were once as hopeless. Nearly all have recovered. I love this. It's on page 17, are people who would not normally mix. That's what you just told me. We're people who would not normally mix. But there exists among us a fellowship, a friendliness, an understanding between an Orthodox Jew, a Christian, and a Muslim, and a Sufi, and a yogini, and a Hindu, right? There's a understanding which is indescribably wonderful. We are like passengers of a great liner. The moment after rescue where we are just so happy, isn't it? Like I just saw it all, like you and your journey. And I know you've been here the same amount of time. I think your birthday's coming up too. You've been in here, like, I know we're 13, 14 years old. It's just like we have a common solution. Now, I want to take this person back here because, like, it doesn't say call your sponsor. That's what Justin just said. The step 10, we discuss them with someone. Now, the someone is a properly appointed authority. If you've done something illegal, you will need to call your lawyer, the properly appointed authority, before you call your sponsor. We discuss them with someone immediately. The someone. My sponsor is having the time of his life. I can't get a hold of him, her. So I talked to someone, and we just discussed it on the noodle meeting. And what was it? It's this. I discuss a lot of stuff, and I know you do too, Justin, with your sponsees. And your sponsees, in their own way, become your sponsors, because as you're taking your sponsee through the steps that day, something arises. You share your experience, strength, and hope. You get their little bit of feedback. And basically, the answers come to you after you've tried this for a while. You actually don't need to call anybody. I see you unmuting. Come through.
Yeah, Nikki, I was going to step in and say something about that, because right now my sponsees are the ones who are helping me more than as much as I'm helping them, and probably more than I'm helping them in this process, because I get to share experience, strength, and hope, and all of a sudden there's like a mirror. How do you say? It takes two to see one. I think that's how you say that, Nikki. It takes two to see one, and I'm seeing things more clearly through them. About 2 weeks ago, I had a situation come up where I was like, I have to talk to someone right now. And my sponsor was not available. And the first person that came to mind was my sponsee, somebody that I'm working with right now. And I said, hey, here's what happened. Here's what's going on. I just need to get this out so it's not a secret, so that everything's, so it's not eating me alive for the rest of my life. Um, and, uh, and having a sponsee that I've built that relationship, and it's not a, some of my sponsees I would go and sit down and have, hang out and go to lunch with and, just hang out with in my free time. But most of them, it's just, hey, we're here to work recovery. We're here to connect with God. We're here to connect with each other and then share that message with others. But it's not like I'm a buddy buddy, but man, do I trust them and I need them in those moments. And with that, yeah. So what are your thoughts, Nikki?
Well, it's very helpful for them too, Mr. Justin B. Why? They see that Justin's not perfect. They actually see, oh my God, this is how he's getting through the situation. They're seeing when I'm literally, you know me, I travel, I come home from Luxembourg with Mr. Luxembourg, being away for a month, I'm out of my mind. I am page 88 disciplined. I do not have a call lined up with my sponsor. I have a call lined up for a step one with a new sponsee. And in those moments, these are the ones that save me. My book says, page 15, when all other measures fail, work with another addict will save the day. It doesn't say call your sponsee. Sorry, call your sponsor. Does not say call. There's not even the word sponsor in there. Now, let me go deeper. What Justin just said. It's important for the newcomer. And this is on page 94, I think it is 94. It's important for them, the newcomer, to realize that Justin's attempt to pass the recipe on, to pass the 12 steps on, to pass this on, plays a vital part in Justin's recovery. Justin doesn't need to call somebody and rat or tell himself out or discuss it with someone because he's disciplined. He has his appointment with his sponsee. And a lot of the time, this is where I see the hand of God, Justin, because I'm out of my mind. God has me so disciplined that I have this sponsee lined up Friday morning at 10 a.m. and I had a crisis Thursday night. You understand? Or I have a sponsee at 3 o'clock on Saturday and I wake up to the worst news Saturday morning. And at 3 o'clock, I've got to be ready. And then I'm back in the solution. So it's like this, it's consistency and discipline. And this is this line on page 94. It says, actually, they, the newcomer, may be helping you, Justin and Nikki, the sponsor, more than you are helping them. You see? They play a vital, it doesn't say the sponsor plays a vital part in your recovery. It says the sponsee, the new prospect. Go deeper. Page 74 says right here, you need a closed mouth, understanding friend. And this program gives you discernment so you do not discuss things with your wife who's untreated, or that it will not be helpful to discuss it. You will not discuss it with somebody. You will learn to differentiate the true from the false because your recovery life is your only normal one, not your addict life. And so here it says here, page 74, such parts of our story we tell to someone. Doesn't say a sponsor. My line out says the properly appointed authority, which would be maybe a sponsor, maybe a sponsee, maybe my pastor, maybe my yoga teacher. It could even be my best friend. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And the more connections I have, and I've shared this with newcomers a lot. If you go into my phone contact list, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of people with the last name of my fellowship that I'm in. I've got Justin B. S.A., whatever it is, with just hundreds and hundreds of them with that last name that I know that I can reach out to whenever I need it. And I'm grateful when they reach out to me. And I just am so grateful to build that, using an old word, that Rolodex of fellows that I can count on and that they can count on me. And it's a beautiful thing to do.
Yeah, because here it says, Justin, it's like the question was, my sponsor got ill and won't be able to sponsor anymore. Who cares? Who cares? It's not your business. So you see right there, that is not your business that your sponsor got ill. That's your sponsor's problem, not yours. You're putting your business, making it it's not your business. Mind your business. My sponsor has decided not to find another sponsor. Page 120. We never arrange another person's life. It's not your business, lady or sir. I'm worried. Well, that's a waste of time, burning up energy foolishly. I'm worried. That's not your business. Your business is to serve God's and God's people. Your purpose, page 77, is not to worry. Your purpose is to serve. I'm worried about having a sponsor that doesn't have a sponsor. Well, that's a silly thing to worry about. You see what I mean? That's silly because go here, and I think this might be the great place to end too, Justin, is right here. See, number one, you need to, page 55, sweep away everything you've ever known because you have some old belief systems that aren't working and don't even exist in this program. Number two, you have to think honestly. You have to think honestly. Your mom is surviving even though grandma's dead. You're surviving even though mom's dead. Like, go deep. This is deep. This is a life instruction book. And then you've got to search diligently within yourself. That's where your sponsor finds the answers, not in his sponsor. But I want to take us to page 164, which says this, friend, because I hear old programming. I hear, I need a sponsor. We don't discuss that in these rooms. I hear old fake news, rumors going around. Look at all these rumors running us every day. Where is the music crew for us, Justin? But these are rumors. You need a guide. You need to make the approach, take people through the steps, and then commence shoulder to shoulder. But here it is. It says, he will show you how to create the fellowship you crave. That's it. That's it. The answers will come if your own house is in order. Is your own house in order? It doesn't say the answers will come if your sponsor has a sponsor, right? It doesn't say the answers will come if I have $1 million. The answers will come if everybody and the scenery and the lights, page 60, the actor who wants to run the whole show. If only I managed well, if only my sponsor had the perfect fellowship, and we walked in and everyone was sitting next to each other. And you see the plans and designs. So let's maybe end it here too, Justin. It's page 63. That's a prayer when you take a sincere position. Has this person taken a sincere position to be less and less interested in your old belief system, in your old plans and designs, your old ideals, the rumors that you have to have your sponsor has to have a sponsor or they're not going to make it? That's not what the facts say. Cameron actually talks about it. He gets some statistics about he does all these. He's a numbers guy and an archivist. That's my sponsor, and he'll say, well, they've actually done studies that people who have sponsors don't recover any better than those who do not have sponsors. It's the people who carry the message and practice these principles in all their affairs that actually do well.
That's my experience too, Nikki, is yes, it's important to have a guide, a sponsor, a support person, whatever you call that person, to lead me through the steps. It's important to have that. But once I've gone through the steps, the thing that's going to keep me sober is working with another alcoholic, another addict, commencing shoulder to shoulder with them. It's not relying on my sponsor. Yes, it's important to have people to talk to, but it's more important to talk and share the message and carry the message. Thank you for going through this, Nikki. This has been helpful for me. I hope it's been helpful for you out there in the listening audience. Everybody, get into the work. Start sharing the message, carrying the message, and just press forward with it because you're worth it, and those you're working with are worth it.